I'm Amy Slanchik, and this is your Week in Review. Just about a half a mile down the road behind me, the burned body was discovered. A manhunt is still underway for a 32-year-old man named James Morgan, who police say tried to run over 3 officers right before he drove off the road and crashed right here at Skag City Road and Highway 9. This water well has been around since at least the 1960s, and it might contain methane gas, which is causing their water to become flammable. Philip Gatson was just released from jail last Thursday for aiding prostitution, according to the county jail. But the 23-year-old is back behind bars on a $50,000 bond after being arrested once more last night. Texas can't reach over to Oklahoma to get the water. And Hillary, you know as well as everyone else over there at Gaylord that Oklahoma and Texas are facing a severe drought. What this decision means is that Texas will not be able to take water from the Oklahoma side of the Red River. The White House says President Obama will sign the bipartisan student loan bill into law on Friday, as both sides file new paperwork with the U.S. Supreme Court. The provision requires companies to provide birth control to employees, including emergency contraceptives. At 9:02 this morning, there will be a moment of silence lasting 168 seconds in honor of those who lost their lives 19 years ago today. That was your Week in Review. I'm Amy Slanchik at CBS News in Washington. Purcell and Lexington, sister cities in Oklahoma that are connected by a bridge about 1 mile long over the South Canadian River. On Friday, January 31st, the Oklahoma Department of Transportation closed the bridge because it's not considered safe. ODOT is providing free shuttle rides between the towns to alleviate some of the stress and fuel cost for citizens, so they can avoid the now 40-minute commute from one city to the other, which becomes 70 miles round trip. Charles Graffman is one of the shuttle drivers, and he says without this service, citizens would be spending a lot more money.
Spending a lot of money for gas and road miles. Where I talked to some this morning, they said, I asked them how long it would take if the bridge wasn't out, and they said about 10 minutes. Lexington City Manager Charlie McCone is all too aware of this issue.
That's their biggest concern is I'm on a fixed budget. I work in Purcell, I live in Lexington or east of Lexington.
My family lives in Purcell, so I have to go over there a lot.
This bridge has the same design and problem as the Minneapolis bridge that collapsed in 2007 when 13 people lost their lives.
That definitely is the silver lining, the fact that it did not collapse.
Cracks were found in the truss beams of the bridge. Microscopic cracks that the naked eye can't see. The cracks have to be stopped before more work can be done on the bridge.
I wish they would have done something sooner about the bridge, but they didn't.
Repairing the bridge will take several months and cost tens of millions of dollars. In Lexington, Amy Slanchik, OU Nightly. It's something we rely on every day, not our cell phones or our cars. The light bulb. And as of the 1st of January, the 40 and 60 watt light bulbs stopped being manufactured. Norman Home Depot employee Kurt Vaverka says their store has about 6 months of these bulbs in stock. But some customers were concerned during the first week of January.
They're afraid they weren't going to get them anymore, that they wouldn't even have them. People actually called and asked if we had them.
But you won't be left in the dark without these bulbs. New LED lights are being sold instead. Scott Green is a professor at the OU Department of Geography and Environmental Sustainability.
The biggest objection is a philosophical objection that government does not have the right to tell consumers what they should purchase.
The government didn't think it was the brightest idea to keep incandescent bulbs around. The Environmental Protection Agency says only about 10% of the energy from these bulbs is actually used to make light. The rest is just a waste.
The new light bulbs are more efficient at transferring energy to light. The old light bulbs transferred most of the energy to heat, which is why if you've ever touched an old light bulb, you're more likely to burn your hand.
The LED bulbs won't burn your hand, but some customers think they might burn a hole in their wallets.
A lot of people are gun shy because of the initial cost, $13, $12 a light bulb.
But because they last so much longer,
the bottom line is you will save money.
It's going to be the future, and we're just going to have to get used to it.
While it's arguable when and by whom the light bulb was actually invented, Thomas Edison's bright idea was patented in 1880, making the incandescent light bulb at least 134 years old. In Norman, Amy Slanchik, OU Nightly. Claire McCaskill is in the lead for Missouri. An important thing to note is that it is now mathematically impossible for the Republicans to gain control of the Senate. Let's go back to the East Coast and take a look at Virginia. Now, right now, Tim Kaine and George Allen are in a dead heat. Now, an interesting thing about this election, this could potentially be a historical election for Wisconsin. Tammy Baldwin, if elected, would be the first openly gay senator in U.S. history. And a jury in Oklahoma County is considering whether or not an alleged defect on a 2005 Toyota Camry caused the vehicle to accelerate unexpectedly, leading to an accident that killed one woman and seriously injured another in 2007. Closing arguments for the case were heard today. The plaintiff's attorney says Toyota knew about the problems with the vehicle, and Toyota's attorney says there is no evidence the crash was related to a defect. Michael Jones is one of 3 teenage suspects in the shooting of Christopher Lane. He was first charged with an accessory to the murder, but after yesterday's preliminary hearing, Jones will now be charged with first-degree murder instead. And Congress has a 5% approval rating right now, but OU Nightly's Doug Murray is in the News Center to tell us what they have been up to today. Doug? Back here in Oklahoma, Governor Mary Fallin formally launched her bid for second term in office today. She kicked off her campaign in Tulsa, then went to Oklahoma City and Lawton later in the day. The governor talked about the government shutdown and also mentioned that the Oklahoma unemployment rate is 5.3%. In the newsroom, I'm Amy Slanchik.